Okay, welcome to Smart Web YouTube channel. So today I'll be showing you how to use Python to correct spellings. So it's like autocorrect. So it's just very simple code that we use here. So if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please help us to subscribe. That's the only way you can actually support us. By subscribing, you can see we are growing rapidly. Thank you to the 100 subscribers. You know, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So let's dive straight into it. Now, first of all, we'll be using a library called TextBlob. Now we'll be importing the dependencies from the module. Now, how do we do this? First, I'm using Google Colab as my editor. If you don't have Google Colab, you can use Jupyter Notebook. You can use any editor. All you need to do is what to install your library called TextBlob. If you have not done that, called TextBlob. So, but I have it already, so I don't need to do that. So what I'm going to do now is to import it. So from TextBlob, import import TextBlob. Let's run this. Then the next thing we'll do is we have to define our variable. I'll be showing you two things that we'll do here. We have to define our variable. Let's say blob is equals to test blob. Then in brackets, let's define our variable. Let's spell a thing here. I have let me say a good spelling, good a good spelling, right? Then the next thing is let's define another variable corrected blob equals to blob, right? Dot correct. Have this function. Now we can run this. Let's see, it works. Now let's print our original text. Then the next one is blob. Let me accept this. Where is it? Okay. Let's do it this way. Print um sorry, corrected text, right? Then we have this particular variable assigned, right? Corrected blob. Now the first one is we want to print the original text, which is not correct. You can see that we misspelled it. And the second one here, we want to print the corrected text. So let's print this and see what it gives us. Let's print. You can see here we have the first one, which is the original text, which I spelled as double V here, which is very wrong. And you can see that in the corrected text, you can see I have a good spelling. Now I want to write a function in a way that it will allow you to put any wrong spelling and it will correct it itself. So how do we do that? We already imported this dependency. Let's define a function. Yeah, let's define a function and call it autocorrect, right? Autocorrect tests. Now this is a function. Now why it's giving me suggestion here is because I have written this code before, you know. So let's define our user input in a way that you can actually put anything you want there, the wrong spelling actually, and it will give you what it will give you. So it will give you the correct spelling. Let's use this input function. Now um what do we do here? Let's say something type something type something. Now let's still define our blob, which is our variable. text blob, right? Then user input. This our user input have to be there. User input. You know that the first one here is we already input the spelling here, the sentence here, or anything you want to call it. But here we want to do it in a way that we input anything we want. So that's why we are calling this user input, so that we can able to type something. It will tell us to type anything and we'll type. Then the next thing also is we have to also define our variable, which is corrected, right? Corrected blob, or anything you want to call it. Corrected, let me use the word corrected. Then the next thing you have to put there is what? Blob, right? Dot correct, which is the same thing as this. So we are just defining a function, so you can copy this out. Only thing you need to do is what? To call out your user input, so that you can be able to type. And the next thing you have to do here is to print, right? To print our original, which we did here. But now, instead of corrected, we'll be using what? Instead of blob, we'll be using what? User input. Now, how do we do this? Now, print original, right? Print original. Hope I'm spelling it well. Original. But let's make it, due to it's a function, let's make it in a way that the correct one will enter the next line. So this is what this slash n means, right? It will enter the next line. Original text here. Then this will call what? Input our user input, right? User input, user input, right? Now you can see we're having suggestion. Let me accept this. Now you see we have a suggestion here, right? So I accepted it already, but you can type it out, because the best way of learning code is to what? To type. So the next thing we have to do is to call our function, which is what? Autocorrect text. That's what? To call out our function autocorrect text, right? Autocorrect, let me accept it. It's already as, I don't know. Okay, autocorrect text. Let me accept this. Now, this is the way to what? To call out our what? Function, to run the function. Now, you can see this is the only thing that we need to do, right? Is this okay? Okay. It should be in a way that type something. We're supposed to, if we run it, it will bring out the user input. Is there any mistake that we're making from here? It will bring out a user input. I don't know. Why is it running straight without? There's a problem here. Is there any problem here? There's a problem here. Okay, this indentation problem is running under, very good. Indentation problem is running under this instead of running separately. Now, let's copy this, the first one that we misspelled. Let's put it here. Enter. You can see. So we can rerun it and type anything that you want to do, and it will correct it. So this is the original test and this is the corrected test. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share to your friends. Bye. Thank you.